So, today we're going to take a trip back to the 17th century. We're going to meet this incredible character, Nicholas Culpeper, a guy who could look at a single herb and see the entire universe reflected in it. He was a radical, an herbalist, an astrologer, and we're going to figure out what made him tick.
Right here, this quote, this is the key to understanding the man. Culpeper wasn't just some guy mixing potions, he was a rebel. You gotta remember, this was an age where medicine was all about quoting ancient texts. But Culpeper, he demanded that doctors should be able to give a reason for what they were doing. He didn't just want to know that a cure worked, he wanted to know why.
And trust me, this wasn't some quiet, polite rebellion. Culpeper looked at the medical establishment of his day and thought it was completely broken. He saw them as being way more concerned with tradition than with, actually helping people. So he set out to build a whole new system of medicine, one that made sense from the ground up.
He had this pretty savage analogy for the problem. He said his fellow doctors were just like parrots, just repeating words they'd heard without any real understanding. He'd ask this simple question: if all the old books are so perfect, why do they constantly contradict each other? That contradiction is what lit a fire under him to find a single, unifying theory that could explain everything.
Okay, so what was his grand solution? Well, it was nothing short of breathtaking. Culpeper basically proposed this unified field theory of medicine that connected the movements of the entire cosmos directly to your health.
At the absolute core of his philosophy was this idea of the microcosm and the megacosm. The microcosm is us, the human being, the little world. The megacosm is the universe, the great world. He believed that to understand a person, you first had to understand the heavens. Every planet, every star, it all had an echo right inside of us.
And you can really see his whole worldview wrapped up in this one quote. Culpeper saw the universe as this perfect machine built from contrary elements, hot and cold, wet and dry. And he believed that human beings were a perfect, miniature version, an epitome of that entire system.
Now, this wasn't just some abstract philosophical idea. For Culpeper, this cosmic connection had very real, very practical results for medicine. I mean, if we really are miniature universes, he figured, then it only makes sense that the movements of the planets would directly affect our bodies.
So when he talks about the operations of the microcosm, he means one thing and one thing only: astrology. The positions of the planets and the stars in the sky weren't just signs or omens. For him, they were the direct, natural, physical causes of sickness and health.
And boy, did he map it all out. Each planet ruled over specific body parts and the types of diseases that hit them. So feeling down? Melancholic? He'd say that's Saturn messing with your spleen. Feeling hot-headed? Feverish? Angry? Well, that's Mars, the ruler of the gall and choler, acting up. For him, astrology wasn't fortune-telling, it was his main diagnostic tool.
So here's the logical next question. If the planets are what make us sick, where on earth do you find the cure? Well, for Culpeper, the answer was just beautiful. It's perfectly logical. You find the cure in the herbs, because herbs are also governed by those exact same planets. The problem and the solution both come from the same cosmic system.
So his whole treatment plan really boiled down to this pretty straightforward two-step process. Step 1, use astrology to figure out which planet is causing all the trouble. Step 2, find an herb that's ruled by the right planet to fix the problem. And this led him to two really interesting ways of healing.
Okay, this is where his system gets really clever. He had two main methods. First was cure by opposition. Basically, you fight fire with water. So if you have a hot, fiery disease caused by Mars, you treat it with a cool, watery herb ruled by its opposite planet, Venus. But then he also had cure by sympathy. This is more like cures like. In this case, the very same planet that rules a part of your body also provides the herbs to heal that exact part. And you can see exactly how this works. Let's say you've got a liver problem, which is Jupiter's domain. You'd use an herb ruled by its opposite, Mercury, to create balance. But if you have an eye problem, you turn to sympathy. The sun and moon rule the eyes, so you'd use herbs that are also ruled by the sun and moon. It's this incredible dance between opposition and sympathy that was the foundation of his entire pharmacy. So we've got this huge, intricate system, right? It connects stars to body parts to plants, and to our modern ears, it can sound, well, pretty mystical, maybe a little out there. But here's the twist. For Culpeper, all of this was grounded in something that sounds surprisingly modern.
And honestly, this quote right here might be the key to understanding the whole man. When all the old traditional books failed him, he didn't turn to some kind of blind faith. He turned to what he called his two brothers, Dr. Reason and Dr. Experience. His ultimate guides were logic and his own direct personal observations.
And that just changes how you see everything he did, doesn't it? Culpeper's astrological medicine wasn't a rejection of reason. To him, it was reason. It was his grand attempt to build a logical, coherent framework, a ground and foundation, for a field he saw as total chaos. He used the stars to find the very logic he felt those parrots were missing.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. Culpeper built this whole cosmic system because he was searching for a logical foundation, and he trusted what he could see and test for himself. In our world today, where we are just flooded with data and algorithms, what does it really mean for us to consult our own Dr. Reason and Dr. Experience?